adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Chloe from Raven Records.
And Ben from Raven Records.
Nice. Actually, before I kind of put the connection together in my head, I had walked the grounds and I was like, that's a cool booth I'm going to have to visit. So tell us a little bit about, let's start with what your booth's like here at Bloodstock, and then we'll go deeper.
Sure. So, I mean, the booth here we got at Bloodstock, we're selling records, we've got puzzles, we've got books, heavy metal related books, we've got heavy metal colouring books, we've got patches and pins, and yeah, we're just here to have a great time, with the fans as well. We're a heavy metal record shop based in Camden, and we're coming out to festivals to give people the fan experience that they get in Camden when they visit the shop.
Nice. And so, tell us a little bit more about your shop. Like, one of the things I found really cool is that you have an alcohol-free bar. And I don't drink. It's not like I'm sober because I have a problem. I just don't drink. So, I go to bars, and it's like I go to socialize, but then I kind of feel weird because I'm there and I'm not drinking. And like, if I go to, there's a place by where I live, they have live music, so I go for the live music, but I always feel like bad that I'm not spending money on drinks. So your kind of place would be my kind of place. Yeah,
well, that was one of the things we saw looking at everything that was going on in the metal scene. You know, I'm in recovery myself, so I'm nearly 19 years without a drink.
Good for you.
Thank you. I started my own recovery group, and one of the things I noticed with alcohol-free bars that existed everywhere in the world, most of them were white walls, whale music. It was all about mindful drinking and didn't fit our aesthetic as a metalhead, you know.
Yeah.
So one of the things we wanted to do was create a bar that was a proper metal bar that just sold alcohol-free drinks. And then we saw some of the best alcohol-free drinks that we could find. So we've got alcohol-free whiskies, rums, beers, ciders. We've got Guinness Zero on draft. And it's been an amazing experience to be able to do that and to create something that had the proper metal atmosphere just without the booze. So you can socialise and hang out and not feel different or a part or not a part of the full group. And I think it was important for us as well not to sort of make everyone else change and make all the other bars in the local area have more 0-0 options for people that didn't drink, but to create a space where if you didn't want to drink, you had somewhere where you could go. But as a ripple effect, all the local bars now are doing more 0-0 options, so that's amazing, and it means more people that are either in recovery or choose not to drink can still experience the whole metal atmosphere without having to compromise.
See, that is amazing. And, you know, what I thought was really cool about you, what you said, a couple things. One is that it's alcohol-free, but it doesn't mean you're just getting a juice or a soda. You can kind of have the experience without the negative parts of it, you know, and the metal part. Because as somebody that was very active in the Sunset Strip scene of the 80s, and man, that today it's so much more straight edge for metalheads. Like, there was a lot of debauchery that I was doing from 13 on, and walking with Motley Crue into the Rainbow to hang out with Lemmy, and like, you know, it was insane. You know, thank God there's no proof. And you know, they say that if you remember the Sunset Strip in the 80s, you weren't actually there, you know. You know, so, but nowadays it's cool. Like, even as doing press, I mean, all my friends will be like, hey man, can you get me backstage? I'm like, it's not what you think it is, man. Like, back in the day, yes, you wanted to go backstage. I'm like, it's actually kind of boring. We're sitting around showing pictures of our kids and doing nothing, you know. So thank God that you have had this brainstorm to come up with this idea that not only allows people to be in a safe place, but creates the same atmosphere so they don't have to feel like, oh, great, I'm a metalhead, and I can't go to a place where I can enjoy that atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was really, really important for us to create that and to create a space where people could come and just hang out, you know. We also do cocktails as well. So we've got a heavy metal themed cocktail menu. So you can have all of your, you know, standard cocktails, but in an alcohol-free version. So we do an espresso martini and lots of different types of things which change regularly. So yeah, it's really about creating that experience within the store.
And I love, too, I was just thinking about, because I go through this all the time, a place where you can meet people like in a romantic way, like a relationship, because, you know, I have the problem that I'll go out on dates and I'll order a water after they order a drink, and then all of a sudden they're telling the server, oh no, like change it to a water. And they feel uncomfortable because I'm not drinking, which I think is utterly ridiculous. Like, I don't give a shit if they have a drink. But now you're making me feel uncomfortable that, you know, I'm making you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've talked about a lot, isn't it, Ben? You know, we see that all the time. You know, the fact that I'm not drinking shouldn't make anyone else uncomfortable.
Right.
But it tends to do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I experienced it quite a lot. I've had friends, I find it really funny, one of my friends when we were at the Slayer gig was wearing a tankard t-shirt and apologised. I was like, that's not even alcohol. And the issue is not you drinking, it's me drinking. So, you know, if you're drinking, fine. If I'm drinking, run.
It's funny you should mention tankard, too, because I was covering them at a festival in the States, and they were like, they go, hey, can you do us a favor? We didn't bring our crew over here. Can you just come on stage, take pictures for us, and hand us beer during the set? And like, they live up to their name, okay?
Yeah.
Those boys could seriously drink. They had a tall refrigerator filled up front, and they kept bringing beer there. They went through at least a case during their set on stage. I just thought they were funny. I didn't give a shit that they were doing this, and I hung out with them all night while they got tankered.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. If you're not a dick, like there's some friends I have, they're fun drunks, okay. Enjoy yourself. If you're a dick or you're psycho, my British ex-wife, she was a psycho drunk.
Might be a British thing.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story about that. So a lot of British women, they come over to the States and they act like they're royals and like they're better than Americans, put their nose down to us. And she was like that. She was like, oh, you Americans, you have no class and blah, 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 blah. And she spoke the proper Queen's English, so it was believable. Then she would drink 15 margaritas every night.
Yeah.
And she would turn into batshit crazy that I figured out was her hometown real her. Because I never knew where she was from. And this is where the laugh comes from. Newcastle.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And people are like, you mean you didn't recognize the Geordie accent? I'm like, no, she spoke the proper Queen's English. Like, I could understand her totally, and she spoke so well. She was exactly what us Americans think, oh, what a great accent. But yeah, I mean, like, somebody like her, oh my God, like, she would try to get me into fights, and she was just batshit crazy. Those are the drunks I don't want to hang out with. But the ones that are entertaining, I don't care. And even with her, like, you want to drink, that's your business. And they all, here's the problem with somebody like me, like, you're in recovery, I'm not. But people always think that I have a problem and that's why I don't drink, and that annoys the shit out of me. Like, why does it have to be that label? Listen, you don't drink, I don't drink. To me, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter, you know, what your label is supposed to be. And they're always like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to cause you to go back to drinking. I'm like, no, I didn't drink to begin with. Shut up.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm in recovery. Chloe's not in recovery, but Chloe doesn't drink either. So, you know, we can see both sides of the coin.
Exactly, right? You know, and see, I love that about you too, because you can understand each other. And so I do want to ask, when you first got together, did you have any of that kind of experience when you first met? like any uncomfort on either side, worrying about the other?
I guess not for me. I mean, Chloe was drinking when we first met. I didn't have an issue with that at all. It's difficult being sober and obviously going out dating, especially when you're in your late 30s, early 40s. And,
Yeah.
It's tough as it is, being out there and being alternative as well. Alternative and not drinking is it can be a bit weird, but I mean, it's amazing there's so many sober stars out now that are actually making a point of it.
Yes.
Mortis has been talking about, being out on the road and what he's drinking. Obviously, you've got, we had Lamb of God yesterday, Randy Blythe's 15 years without a drink, and I think other substances as well. Loads of the guys from Slipknot don't drink anymore. You've got Rob Halford, Alice Cooper, they're all actually promoting that now. And I think you're seeing a bit of a change in the metal scene anyway, where there's more fitness-based things, there's more things where people don't drink, and it is getting sort of more health and mental health based as well. And I think we tap into that market at the same time as well. We do heavy metal therapy meetings in the shop, which is mental health peer-to-peer support. We do obviously the satanic recovery meetings in the shop as well, which is the addiction recovery support. So we're kind of helping that along at the same time as well as creating the alcohol-free space, and obviously the amazing coffee we do in there as well. So
that's the next thing I want to talk about, the coffee, because like people around the world are obsessed with coffee, and so I love that. That's also like your record store is like not a record store; it's just a full metal experience. So tell us about the coffee.
Yeah, so we stock 2 brands of coffee within the shop. So we stock Concept Cafe's coffee, which we import from America, and we're the only stockist in Europe for that. So that is official band coffee, and they work directly with the bands to create their own coffee lines. So the packaging, the type of the coffee, the roasting, and also there's royalties that go back to the band as well from the coffee. So they're working directly with the artists, which is really important to us as
no
a
doubt.
store. We also stock another brand, Black Coffee Worship, which is a Liverpool-based company, and they do Scandinavian-style coffee. Our strongest coffee, the Black Cross, is by far, it's one of theirs, and is by far, one of our most popular coffees. In fact, people get upset when we take it off.
That says something for sure.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the American company at Incarceration just like a few weeks ago, so it's kind of cool to come to the UK and find it here too.
Yeah, I mean we don't just sell the bags as well. We actually serve it, so people can come in and try the different types and see which ones they like, and then purchase it to drink at home.
Nice. And besides these cool things, as a record store, what else sets you apart from other record stores, which there's not as many nowadays, so it's cool you have one? Because, listen, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for that. Because when I was a teenager in 1980, I used to go to this little record store in the Valley in Los Angeles called Oz Records. And there was this record store clerk there. He always would show me, like, you're wearing a Venom bracelet. Like, I remember when he goes, you got to check out this band, this Welcome to Hell, he hands me. And that was my first introduction to Venom, and pretty much every band, that's what he would do. That's Brian Slagle. So, like, Metal Blade Records was born out of a record store.
Yeah, I mean, talking Venom, we had Venom in the shop doing a signing earlier in this year. We've done 18 band signings this year in the store. Yep. A broad range of artists, everything from cinematic to progressive to black to death to gore. So it's really about creating that fan experience through the signing, giving people an opportunity to meet the artists, meet their heroes. The Venom one was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've also got downstairs, we've got an area called the Lucifer Lounge as well, which has a 6-foot upside down cross, which is backlit in red. There's a throne down there and some church pews, so you can hang out downstairs as well. Venom actually did all their press for their new album in the Lucifer Lounge, which was cool, and they got all the shots were taken by Necro Horns, which is a really famous black metal photographer, which is awesome. And I mean, going back, like, we had Testament in the shop doing a signing session, which actually came off the back of the coffee. So they were signing bags of coffee, and I mean, they had a hand in designing the packets and the roast. and they took 25 bags on the tour bus with them. So testament of drinking their own coffee, which again is amazing.
That
so
says something.
you know, that again adds to the fan experience. You know, if you can take home or, you know, consume something that the band are consuming and enjoying, then you feel a lot closer and a part of that as well. And I guess that's what we try and do in the shop. It's that bridge between the bands and the fans, and not just the massive bands as well. We have smaller bands in as well. So we're kind of promoting metal as a whole, like Chloe was saying, all the different genres as well. You know, thrash, and we stock glam as well, which is cool. And it's great to have stuff in the racks that, you know, upsets people as well as makes them go, wow, I've never seen that before, and I've never heard of this band. Like we stick Bon Jovi in the racks just to upset a few of the
I love it,
death metal fans, which is great.
And I'll tell you why I love that too, because I was going to make a comment next. Being from the 80s and the gatekeeping bullshit, the first club show I ever went to in my life was Motley Crue at the Roxy, and they didn't have an album yet, so they weren't glam yet. They were horror punk. They were more like Wednesday 13, and it was like cool, and they were lighting up everything on fire in the Roxy, bring Satan in. But then I was like at Metallica's first show ever, Slayer's first show ever, and then all my friends were like, you gotta burn all your Motley Crue shit. Now you're a Slayer fan. And like you'd go to Slayer gigs, and somebody'd walk in with Motley Crue shirt, and then you'd rip it off their back, throw it up to Tommy, would burn it on stage. So one of the first things I noticed that I was going to comment on is she's wearing a Motley Crue shirt, you're wearing Bathory and Venom, and you're a couple. And then you added on top of that you do that in a store. And that's the beautiful thing about 2026 is that gatekeeping bullshit is almost completely gone. And you know what? Just like the music you fucking like.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly. You know, metal's metal at the end of the day.
Exactly.
You know, and it's hard enough as it is, sort of being alternative and being a metalhead, because you're different from everyone else. But embrace it, enjoy it. You know, enjoy what you like. I don't use the term guilty pleasures either. You know, I don't feel guilt over anything that I enjoy.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a stupid term.
Exactly.
You know, and I always thought it was stupid too. I talk about it all the time. Like, I'm also a punk, but I could never go to punk shows when I was a teenager because I was a long hair.
Yeah.
And the punks couldn't come. Even suicidal tendencies. If you went to a suicidal show as a long hair, they'd had dudes in the pit with switchblades, and it was like fucking bad.
Yeah.
You know, and it was stupid because we were a very small community, not like now. And the jocks were always the ones bullying us. So why were we fighting each other? Why weren't we just banding together? It's so similar music. Like Slayer, Lombardo was a punk, Jeff was a punk, Kerry was a metalhead, and Tom didn't even know what the fuck metal was when he joined Slayer. Yeah. So, like, that's the way it should be. Who cares what area? I'll even say any area of music. Like what you like, and have respect for each other, and we can all like different musics and just be fucking cool humans to each other, and that's what I love about the metal community.
Yeah, I mean, we were in Vegas in September, which was insane. We actually went to see Tom Kiefer's Cinderella. Chloe's a massive Cinderella fan. Then we went to the Metal Blade Museum, interviewed Brian Slagle. He dropped us off at the Rio so we could play Kiss Crazy Golf, and then we went and saw Motley Crue on their residency, you know.
Nice.
And then we come back to the store and we're doing stuff with like Venom and Mayhem, and it's like, you know, because we just love the music, you know.
Exactly.
And we love being part of the metal scene. It's what we grew up with, and you know, it's who we are as individuals. And I think it's important to showcase that, and to showcase we like all different types of metal. You know, I've got stuff. I was brought up with prog rock, so I was into all the kind of the weird stuff. You know, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, King Crimson, Uriah Heep, and that kind of stuff growing up. And then hit Metallica and Sabbath and Zeppelin, and you know, so music's always been there and been a crutch and something that I can lean on when I need to. And I've noticed with my kind of mental health, I can notice how I'm feeling through the music. You know, if I'm listening to a bit more doom than I normally look, I might be a little bit depressed. You know, if I'm bouncing around, I'll probably listen to a bit more glam. And you know, black metal's always sort of been everywhere within, especially since I got into recovery. You know, black metal's always always been there for me, which is, hence the Bathory and the Venom, and I've got a Sudor hoodie, and
Nice.
I love all that kind of stuff, the aesthetic and the darkness that goes with it, and that taps into other things I'm interested in as well, like the ceremonial magic and the occult based things that I do as part of my recovery.
And I love that because I come from the same school. Like, I listened to my older brother's albums, ELP and The Association and all those bands, and I've actually interviewed the Rascals and Grassroots and stuff like that. Sure, I'm a metalhead, but that doesn't mean that's all we ever like. And for people at our stage, there wasn't certain things, so it was an evolution. You can't like Venom without having liked bands before that weren't even close to metal. It all evolved to that. And like nowadays it's like, oh, you can only like death metal, and it's stupid. I like death, I like black metal, I like every metal, I like every rock, I even like Latin music and like hippie music and fucking reggae, and it does depend on your mood. And music is the best therapy, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, we have in the store, we have the heavy metal family tree on the wall, which showcases from all of the different genres within metal itself, and we try and stock a bit of everything so that we're representing everything within the scene.
I love it. So tell everybody all your contact information of the store, so if they, are here in the UK, visit the UK, that they need to stop into your store.
Yeah, so we're based in Camden, so in Camden Town. We are 100 metres away from the legendary Underworld venue and the World's End, right by the tube station. And in the kind of a triangle of all of the metal bars and pubs in the area.
Nice, and tell them your website, your socials, and all that.
Sure. So our website is ravenrecordshop.com, and you can follow us on Instagram, which is ravenrecords_Camden, with the same on Facebook, and then TikTok is similar as well.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you're here at Bloodstock. When I get a break today, I'm going to come back and look at all your merch here, and I suggest anybody that ever sees you at a festival do the same. And thanks a lot for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.